My name is Ken.
And my name is Jason.
And today what we're looking at?
The Resistance. So, The Resistance was originally published in 2009 by Indie Boards and Cards.
This game has actually already been republished into several different languages, including in the Czech version. It seems to be called Mafia or Mafia.
And it's actually number 8 in the top 10 party games on Board Game Geek.
So this is a social deduction or traitor type game where the players take on the role of a resistance actually fighting against a corrupt government, but several spies have actually infiltrated the ranks.
And there's no player elimination in this game, although not every player is going to go on every mission.
The resistance must win 3 missions successfully, otherwise the spies will take it from them. If they can complete 3 missions successfully, they win. Otherwise, the spies and the government takes them over. First, we're going to quickly go over the components of the resistance. First, we have the board, which goes in the center of the table. These are the markers used in the game. The black one is actually used to note the current round. Blue ones note resistance success, while red ones note spy success. This is the leader card, and also the team composition cards, which go with the leader card. We have the character cards for the resistance, which are the blue cards, and the red ones, which are the spies. We have the vote approved and vote rejected cards. These are the mission cards. A pair of these will be given to each player that goes on the mission. These are the mission success cards, while these are the mission failure cards. We'll be touching on these briefly later, but these are the plot cards. They're going to be used if you use the plot thickens expansion variant that comes with the game.
So now we're going to set up the resistance. First of all, set the board in the center of the table. Set the round marker on mission 1. Set the spy and resistance markers near the board. Next, randomly determine the leader. So in this case, we're going to play a rousing game of Dungeon Quest Combat.
Ho, ho, ha! Ting! So I'm going to be the leader, so if you would like to pass that card on to me.
Next, you determine character cards based on the number of players and distribute 1 card to each player. Now in this case, me and Ken are both going to be playing 3 characters because the minimum number of characters is 5 anyway. The ratio of resistance to spies is actually on the board. In this case, there are going to be 4 resistance members and 2 spies. So we're going to be taking 4 resistance cards, 2 spies, shuffling those together, and dealing 1 to each player. Next, each player receives 1 vote rejected and 1 vote approved card. Next, the leader speaks the following.
Everyone, close your eyes. Spies, open your eyes. Spies, look around to make sure you know where all the other spies are. Spies, close your eyes. All eyes should be closed. Now everyone, open your eyes.
And now you are ready to play.
So the resistance can be up to 5 rounds long, but it can actually be as short as 3 rounds. Each round is going to consist of 2 phases. There's the team building phase and the mission phase. First off, the leader assigns a number of players to go on the next mission using the team cards. The number of players is actually determined by the chart on the board here, and it's determined by the number of players versus which mission it is. So we currently have 6 players, and we're going to be on the first mission for the intents and purposes of this, so it's going to be 2 people on the team. So the leader chooses who actually goes on the team, so the leader's going to choose, not himself, he's going to choose you, and you. Once the leader has publicly declared who the team is actually going to consist of and has handed out the team cards, all the players take up their yes and no votes and actually choose whether or not they want the mission to go through. All players choose their vote in secret and, I don't know, have their other vote card off to the side so that it's not confused. And all players reveal their votes simultaneously. Next, you tally up the votes. So there's currently 4 approve, and 2 reject. This means the mission will go ahead as normal. However, if we had 3 rejects and 3 accepts, the vote actually would be rejected. So ties always go in favor of rejection. In the case of rejection, the leader title actually passes to the next player clockwise to the leader. Then all votes are taken back in. The team cards are actually taken back and given to the new leader. And the new leader actually creates the new team. The votes are then gone through again and accepted or rejected as necessary. If the leader title passes around the table 5 times, then the game is simply over. The spies have won because the resistance is not actually able to come to any agreements and is therefore not able to do anything. However, if a vote is accepted, then you just go on to the next phase, which is the mission phase. All players on a mission are actually given a mission success and mission failure card. The rest of the mission success and failure cards are actually placed face down to the side of the table. The players then on the mission take their mission cards, take them into hand, and choose whether or not they want the mission to be a success or a failure. If you are a member of the Resistance, you must play the mission success card. You can't actually choose the mission failure card. However, if you are a spy, you can choose to play the mission failure card. It may not always be in your best interest to play the mission failure card if there's perhaps some suspect of your loyalty. But generally speaking, that's how you're going to win. So if you don't play the mission failure card, you're not going to win. Regardless of your choice, it is made in secret, and all the mission cards that are actually being used are actually handed to the leader. The ones that are not used are actually handed back to the deck. The deck is then shuffled, and the leader takes the mission cards and shuffles them secretly. This way it is not known who has played what mission card. The mission cards are then revealed. If they are both revealed to be a success, move the round counter ahead 1 step and give the mission a success with a blue marker. If even 1 mission failure card shows up, the mission is a failure. Move the round counter ahead 1 step and put a spy success or mission failure token here. It should be noted that the leader can actually choose himself for the mission, but it's usually in their best interest to kind of feel out the other characters if they don't know who's a spy and who's not. Now we go to ending the game. Nice and simple. The game ends if the Resistance has successfully completed 3 missions in any order, so this would also still be 3 completed missions, and the game is won in the Resistance's favor. The game is also over if there are 3 failed missions or the spies have been successful 3 times. The game can also end during the team building phase if the team is actually rejected 5 times in a row. And this again represents the Resistance simply not being able to do anything and failing as a function of that. Now we're going to go look at the Plot Thickens cards. This game essentially comes in with a built-in expansion, which adds these plot cards that can actually be used to make the game more interesting for experienced players. We generally don't cover expansions in this show, or at least we haven't before, but since this basically comes with the game, it's basically a variant rule, so we're just going to go over through this just because it seems only fair. First, you have to create the plot deck. There are 7 cards used in all plot games. These are the ones that have the 5 through 10 player icons on the side here. And there are 8 cards that are actually used with higher player games, from 7 till 10 players. We're currently in a 6-player game here, so we're actually only going to be using the 5 through 10 player cards. These cards are shuffled up, and the deck is actually given to the leader. Now, for the purposes of using the Plot Thickens, you should effectively add the plot phase to the beginning of the phases. So it would essentially go the plot phase, the team building phase, and the mission phase. During the plot phase, the leader draws and distributes a plot card from the plot deck. In a 5 or 6 player game, he's revealing 1, 2 in 7 to 8 players, and 3 in 9 to 10 players. And these cards are distributed to the other players. They cannot actually go to himself. The leader cannot give himself a plot card. There are 3 types of plot cards. There There are ones with the star icon. These ones are used immediately when given to a player in the plot phase, and then discarded back to the box. There are the cards that have the 1 icon. These cards are held by the player and then discarded once they are used. And then there are plot cards that have the square icon. When these are given to a player, these are in effect for the rest of the game. There may be a few times when multiple players can play their plot cards for the same occurrence. If this does happen, start with the player to the right of the leader. Each player may then choose whether or not they're going to play a plot card for this instance. If they refuse to play a plot card in the instance, they cannot change their mind further down the way. So if this player decides they're not going to use a plot card, and then it gets around to about here, this player could not then choose to play a plot card after it's gone past their turn. So we're going to go through a few example turns for the resistance, starting at round 1. This character here is the leader. They're going to choose some people to go on a mission with them. They're going to choose this player, and this player. Now all players take their mission approve or mission reject cards into hand and vote in secret. All votes are then revealed simultaneously. Okay, so it appears majority rules on voting approved, so it looks like the mission is going ahead. All players take their voting cards back into their spots, and now we go on to the missions phase. The leader hands out a mission success card and a mission failure card to all players on the mission. So in this case, this player and this player. They then must secretly choose the way in which they will go for the mission. The unused mission cards are returned to the top of the mission deck, and the mission deck is actually shuffled. The cards used in the mission are taken by the leader, shuffled where they cannot be seen, so no one can guess which card was played by whom, and then revealed. The mission is a success. We can move the round token 1 step, and 1 success for the resistance. The mission cards are taken back and given to the leader, and the leader title is then handed clockwise to the next player. So as you can see, we're a few turns ahead now. The spies have been doing their damage fairly well, but I feel the players have a fairly good idea of who the spies are at this point. This player is now the leader. They now get to choose the mission team. So go ahead, leader.
Alright, so in this case, I'm choosing 3. I think I'm going to go with this player, and this player, and this player.
Okay. Now we vote. All players take their voting cards in hand and choose whether or not they want the mission to proceed or not. And all the votes are revealed simultaneously. Well, it looks like the mission is a go. Alright, everybody takes their cards back in, and let's go on to the mission phase. So, leader?
Alright, so everybody involved gets a failure and a success card. Okay.
Alright, so this deck is now shuffled to hide the secret identities of the spies. And the leader takes these cards into hand and shuffles them. And now we must reveal. You can see there's a mission failure card, so this mission was failed. The spies have taken out the humans. Now we must reveal who were the spies.
Shocking.
Alright, that was the Resistance. I really love this game. I think it's fantastic. This game combines the trader and social deduction type mechanics from games like Battlestar Galactica, the board game, and like Werewolf, and mashes them together and sort of takes out all the other pieces and makes it so that the game is almost purely psychological. But there's no player elimination, which is great. There's no need for a moderator, which is always good too, because the moderator's kind of only fun every now and then. And the cards really act as an independent moderator here, because they're hiding all your decisions for you.
Yeah. I haven't really had much occasion to play this game yet, unfortunately. From what I've seen, I do really like it. It's nice and simple. It's the kind of thing that, you can bring out when everybody's just sitting around having a beer, and, you can very easily explain the rules, and, people who are not totally in control of their mental faculties can probably grasp it. Another thing that I really like, and, this is something that I've found lately, like, a lot of games these days are, like, 2 to 4 players. When I have a games night, like, everybody that I know kind of works shift work, so you never know who's going to show up. Some nights, sure, you're only going to have 2 or 3 players, but other nights I'm going to have, like, 8.
Yeah, or more.
And that really limits the options as to what we can all play, unless we want to split up into 2 groups, but then, what's the point?
That's never fun, either.
No.
Yeah.
So, I like to see these games that actually have the higher player limits, so that, we have a lot more options when that happens.
And, I mean, the fluff of the game is actually something you've probably seen before. It's cool, like, you've got this resistance fighting a corrupt government and all that sort of stuff. That's always a fun sort of theme to play on. I feel that the cards for this game could be very easily translated into almost any setting, though, like a Mafia-type thing, as the Czech Republic version of it. A murder mystery type game. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can actually break this out. And it's, again, great for parties. I mean, up to 10 people, but that's a lot of people for the most part playing one game. Alright, so that's the Resistance. Jason, what do you think?
I would have to give it a 4 to 5.
4 to 5.
It's certainly an enjoyable game. I like it. Probably not my top 10, but it's a solid party game for sure.
That's fair. Myself, I'm giving it a 5. 5 out of 5. There's no deliberation here for me for this game. I love it. I love games like Werewolf, and I love games like BSG, where the game is almost purely psychological. And I feel this game is like the distilled version of those games in the best way possible. Now, if you're looking for a bigger games night and stuff, this may not be your cup of tea. As far as like a big game, not a lot of people, because obviously this could accommodate a lot of people. Yeah, I think this game is really good. I don't feel like it really needs anything else. They have this little plots variant in there, which is actually really cool. It really adds a lot of variation to the game. The only thing I could think of that they might be able to add in the future would be giving character cards to all the individual players, so that they're not constantly hiding their really cool character art underneath their card all day. And maybe that would give them special rules, or even just give them a face or something like that. That's all good. But yeah, no, I really love this game. I really think it's solid. Yeah. So it's going to give us a grand total of 9 meeples, which is, again, fairly solid.
So that's all for today. Join us next time, where we're going to be going over Democker.
See you next time, and have good games.